Why are we here? Why is it that so many of you have traveled long distances to attend NOFNEC 2015? Is protecting the environment in First Nations different from protecting the environment anywhere else on the planet? Why is the environment so important to northern communities? If not us, then who will look out for First Nation communities in the face of unprecedented resource development, unparalleled climate change, and concerns over the sustainability and health of our communities, traditional lands, and our future generations? The answers to these questions lay in the fact that First Nations people have always been stewards of the land. They have always had a strong connection to the air, earth, and water. Long before the current environmental movement, First Nation people were one with the land, intrinsically linked to the environment, and as a result, were amongst the original environmentalists concerned with the Earth's well-being. The responsibility to provide for future generations cannot be taken lightly. You are at the forefront of this dialogue and are dealing with these environmental issues in your communities. Everyone here has a responsibility and a role in helping ensure First Nations deal with the environment's responsibility. We are also charged with ensuring that those who wish to develop resources and industry on our traditional lands do so with respect and in conjunction with First Nations. Inevitably, it is our communities and people that will be affected by those developments long after industry has moved on. This conference is the tool for Northern First Nation leaders and professionals dealing with environmental issues to network with each other, learn best practices, and strategize solutions that respect both the earth and the need for economic development. Both goals can be achieved when we work together. NOFNEC 2015 is the premier venue for bringing communities, industry, and government together to explore ways of moving forward together. This year's theme reminds us why we need each other. Our theme? Protecting values, improving lives. It clearly states our mutual goals and objectives when it comes to both the environmental health and prosperity of our communities. At this conference, there is much to learn in the areas of protecting our values, environmental O&M, and resource management. This year's agenda is meant to provide as much information to First Nation delegates as possible. In Northern Ontario, learning opportunities are less frequent and more expensive to access. It is the goal of NOFNEC 2015 to present First Nation professionals with the tools, learning, and resources required to effectively manage environmental issues in their communities with the most up-to-date information and best practices available. The environment is a big issue throughout the world today. For First Nations, it has always been an important part of the very culture of our society. In many ways, we are left alone to deal with the impact of what others have done to the environment over the years. As stewards of the land, and as those who live in and off the land, First Nations need to be on the front lines of this issue. It is our respect for Mother Earth that guides us, our dependence on her for sustenance, our love for her as the place we choose to live, work, and play. Like all people, we want a sustainable future. We also want a viable future. As First Nations, we believe that both of these goals can be accomplished together. For the future of our communities and for future generations, it is important that we take a pivotal and active role in ensuring the health of the earth. We know more than anyone that her health will ensure access to life-giving resources for years to come. As delegates, we encourage you to take in the information at this year's conference. We ask you to share it in your communities with those who can affect change. Lastly, we ask you to act upon the things you learned during this year's conference. The information provided here is meant to help us all achieve our mutual goals of protecting values and improving lives.